Welcome back to another Rockford CCG deck profile. Just got back, well, actually, we're like 5 days removed from the Rockford PTC. Just gonna give you guys a little bit of my, I guess, experience breakdown, whatever tournament report. I'm not really good at typing. I'm better at talking. My voice is finally back a bit, and so we're gonna go through the tournament. Just some I'm probably gonna wander a bit when I talk about tournaments because I just don't usually have a plan when I'm talking. So I guess everyone showed up like Friday. We had a little cookout at my house. Went to the shop. All the tables were already set up. Top Cut had already got everything set up for us. Everything was ready to go. We had a mini tournament Friday night. I ran it. That was won by Aaron Williams playing his Lilith deck. Um, Other than that, it was pretty much just to hang out, test some fun decks, play around, and then people just bounced to the local restaurants. And when Barrett got into town, he was staying at my house. We ended up going to Steak and Shake, having some dinner, talking about some stuff. And then the morning of the tournament, we got some breakfast, the normal usual spot down the road at the Alpine View. Shout outs to them. They were more than accommodating us and got our food quickly. And we ate very, very fast. So we got set up. I was worried that we weren't going to hit 70. I was really hoping for 70 at least. I know I called 75 for the guile treatment, but I really wanted to hit more than that. But sometimes people cancel at the last minute or someone doesn't show, yada yada. But yeah, we hit 70 people. It was 69 when the tournament started, and then it was 70 when Aaron got there late. So he took a round one loss and registered. So my first round opponent was Kevin Broberg playing Zhanghua. Um, Man, I think he remembers that. I remember that match more of a wow. I'm trying not to get blown up on my turn more than I think he said our match was really good. It was really good, but it was really one sided good. So obviously it was good in his favor. But Conduit of United Essence was insane in that matchup. Just because every time he stunned me, I was able to flip Krita. I flipped Krita like 2 or 3 times, but he was just able to overwhelm me. I never drew enough attacks. Going forward, I'm probably going to slim the deck down some just so I can draw chunks of attacks instead of having to build a turn over 2 or 3 turns. But yeah, so that was my first round loss. So not a good start, but I only had one other person with diversity. That was Bryant Lopez. And I found out that he won. So I had some little more pressure going into round two. And round two, who do I sit across from? Is from another champion, Phil Birch playing Joffrey. It was a pretty good match. Games one and two, he beat me game one. I whittled him down game two. And then game three kind of was a slog. We went each, like I sat at 4, 2, 3, 1 vitality for a couple turns in a row because we weren't drawing attacks. I was kind of chipping him down a bit. I mean, I should say multiple attacks because he couldn't play just one attack because I would just block it, and he needed to play multiple attacks. But I ended up getting that in the end by drawing a couple cards, drawing a hand of heat, and I kind of lucked out there that he wasn't able to draw a couple attacks when he really needed to. So so we're sitting 1-1 there. So round three, I go against Bubble Man, played by Jesse Allen from Virginia. It's the first time I ever played him, so that was great. I like playing new players. I've played Kevin and Phil multiple times already, so it's great to fight a new, fresh face. So kind of some backstory to the windmill punch bubble man thing. In Collinsville last November, I lost to Tam Cardwell playing Faye, explosion windmill punch. I was also playing Kotal Kahn. But for some reason, for the life of me, it didn't click in my brain that I could give their windmill throw and kick it to their momentum so they can't kick their multiples. So as I'm playing Jesse, he has 3 momentum. He's going for a windmill punch multiple. He when he plays it, I go respond, give it throw. He looks at me kind of puzzled because I don't know if he's played against Kotal Kahn a lot, but I gave his windmill punch throw and it's gonna kick it to momentum. So he couldn't kick his multiples to continue attacking, is what I told him in the middle of the match because I wanted him to at least know that's what's happening. So I ended up taking that down 2-0. Bubble Man kind of melts when you can just chunk him for 9 damage, and his multiples don't do a lot because I'm playing Coon focused. I do have a vast wealth of mid blocks. I have some really good cards that allow me to block mid, so it was a pretty good match. I took that down. Next was T-Gord in round 4. After a random repair that I was the only one who actually moved, which is kind of weird. I played T-Gord playing Kung Jin, Fire Build, very, very scary deck, Punch a Judy, Coffee Samba, Missile Launcher, all that stuff. So I win the die roll. I end up going first. I end up really just hammering him down for the win. And then game 2, he ends up getting me to 4. And then I have to cut. He gets me down to 4 where I'm in, like, 1 hit kills me, obviously. So I'm trying to dance the I don't want to die dance, and I'm able to just eke out the win to kill him 2-0 and move on to round 5. So we're running a really good hot streak. We're running 3-1 right now. Garrison Bennell playing Guile. He was playing this really crazy Dragon's Tongue and Bastion stance to move that back and forth with Guile to basically debuild you and keep your build down to like nothing. He got game 1, and then I came back game 2, was able to sneak out the win there, and then game 3 I was able to just take him down from full in 1 turn because Kotal Kahn could do that. It was a really good match. I asked for his deck list, so we're going to be. I'm actually going to do a deck profile on his deck list when I get some time. I liked the deck a lot. It was really cool, and I love seeing older characters being used and utilized with newer cards because it's also a way to keep the game fresh. So that was fantastic. Round 6, we go into Ed and Ein by Ben Lambright. Of course, I play a local player during the tournament with 70 people, some randomness, but it was a really good match. I end up taking game 1, and then game 2, he ends up taking, and then because I made a mistake where I could have killed him for the win, but it ends up being that he ends up winning and we draw. So we're at 3-1-1 right now, right? 3-1-1? No, we're 4-1-1. So we have one more round 7. So 4-1-1. Still looking good. Still top Kotal Kahn. Still feel that I can't take a loss because I don't think 4-2-1's going to get in because I'm freaking out and I don't want to lose. And then I can't really afford a draw. But so yeah. So we take the draw with Ben, and we go into round 7 against Tyler Clark playing his Remulus deck. Me and him chatted up a bit. We both think that we can get in with the draw, but I don't know, and I'm not confident in that. So I just like, it's just play, man. So we're there to play. So we played out. I get game 1. Looks like I was at 8. Obviously, I went from 16 down to 8, cutting myself with Kotal Kahn's abilities, and Last of His Kind, getting some good stuff in with that, and Sun God Chokes. And then game 2, he just popped off. Like, Remulus just destroyed me. He was able to throw, like, 15 damage ace maneuvers at me, which is insane. He was able to just clear card pool and recycle Remulus over and over again. So I had no shot there. Then game 3, I go first, obviously. I build 4. He builds 2, fails his 3rd card. I draw a grip of attacks. He has a Familiar Faces up and 1 foundation. So I lean with the Moonset. I pick up 1 foundation, and then he takes it. I get some momentum. he takes some damage, and then it comes down to where I play a Saw Blade Strike, kick that to momentum, and then I play another Saw Blade Strike where I have Demon Realm Awakening in hand, and I enhance Demon Realm Awakening on it, and it's at lethal, and he has to destroy his familiar faces to stop it from being lethal to survive. So he takes the damage, goes to 2, and then I play slide shots with a multiple, and I kill him from there. And we're at 5-1-1. I'm super pumped. It's the second time ever topping singles for me, so I was very, very excited. So I find out after we get called down, I'm 5th after Swiss, and we're facing Zach Moore playing Cassie Cage, and I kind of go over like the next few hours at dinner and stuff. I'm kind of just, because I lost my voice then because I did the Batista machine gun and said let's go and went crazy, and we're really just thinking about how we can beat Cassie. I've played everyone's played Cassie, everyone's seen Cassie. She basically does the same thing. She's very solid, a very, very good deck. She doesn't really change up what she does in the all symbol. Like when she does basically the same thing across all of her symbols. It's just some of the attacks change. But on the all build that Zach was playing, I've played that. So I know that I don't want to get reversed with power flip. I have to be careful. I gotta keep my life total high because she can one-shot people very easily with low life totals. So my plan going in was to just chip him down, just chip shot him with play one attack with safe on it, make it a throw, pump the damage, make him eat it because he's on all, and he doesn't have a lot of throw hate. I believe his only piece of throw hate he had in his deck, but that I saw during the match, was the DJ card Rhythmic Biting Style. So I knew that. I didn't know at the time going into the match that he had to slide that in game 2, but so I was thinking I'm pretty safe. I just chuck one throw every turn, get him down to where I can just moonset him for half his health, just to do that. And actually, it worked out pretty well in game 1. I was able to chip him down, and then I killed him. Game 2, we kind of went back and forth a lot. And then I was able to just kill. He killed me with just. It was just like, okay, man. I was like, well, I can't block that. It's just scoop and go to game 3. And then game 3, I kind of dominated a bit. I was able to just keep his foundations down, like Guilt Seeker. I was able to and Moonset, and then I was able to just do the game plan again. Just keep going with throws, hammering him with throws. And then finally kill him off with like a moonset or a slide shot. Slide shot is maybe the best attack in the deck. I know moonset gets all the pop, but slide shots is insane. And Kotal Kahn. So I go top 8. I'm very pumped. Farthest I've hit top 8 with the Fey deck, but I was bounced immediately. This is top 16 into top 8. So I win one playoff match, and I go against Mark Tyner playing Selinka 2. I know what the deck does. I saw him and a couple of people playing on the Legendary Wolf stream a couple weeks ago, so I know how powerful the deck can be. The same kind of mentality. Just I want to grind him down a bit and then just destroy him with a hand of attacks. Game 1 went that way. I crushed him in game 1 going first. Game 2 he double catsed me. I first blocked one for 30 damage, and then he threw another one for another 30, and I'm like, well, I can't do much about that. So he ended up killing me there. Game 3 was sad on my side. He hit a whole lot of pieces he needed. I saw 4 attacks the entire game. So 6 hand size problems, if you will. I call it Kotal problems because, he doesn't have I have a few ways to draw cards outside of the draw step, but it's nothing like very potent, or I can use it every turn or whatnot. But Caliuga doesn't count in a long game in a way. But anyway, so he ended up taking that down and ended up winning the entire event. So it's awesome. So I could say I at least lost to the winner of the entire tournament. So that's great. I really, really wanted to win because I was going to face Garrett Brett in top 4, and I've never played Garrett, and I think the Gil versus Kotal Kahn matchup would be hilarious Because I'd be like, chunk you for 20, and then Garrett would be like, well, I gain it all back on my turn. And I'd just be like, well, I guess rinse, repeat. And I think it'd be a really good match. So hopefully he's going to be I think he's going to be at Gen Con. Hopefully he has his guild deck on him so I can just get a game in or two against him, because I think that'd just be hilarious and fun to play. So it was great. Got 5th overall. Got a neat playmat, or giant mouse pad, as the wife said. So we're going to go into the deck real quick. We're already kind of at 15 minutes. I don't want to take too much longer. So I'm going to go right in. I'm going to zoom through it a bit. It's on Ultra. The Ultra link is down below. I'm just going to glance over a lot of key cards. So Kotal Kahn is a beast. He is currently, actually he's probably not currently or probably, he is my favorite character in Standard right now. I don't know, like when I build the deck, I got to figure out how I'm always going to deal damage. Like, how am I going to do damage to my opponent? He is guaranteed to do damage to your opponent every turn as long as you draw one attack and they're not holding like a perfect throw block or whatever. He is just a beat stick. He cuts his life to get damage on printed 3 or less. So a lot of people, like, when I first saw him, I kind of was like, man, printed 3 or less. But then the next part of his ability, where your next attack gets 2 damage, that's awesome. Because like if you lead with like a Solid Blade Strike, you kick it to your momentum with his ability, and you get 2 damage on that, then you get 2 damage on your next attack. It could be a 5 diff, it could be a 6 diff. It doesn't have to be 3 or less. It can just pile on damage. And then as he cuts himself, he can get into desperation. He can cut himself even more for more damage. So he's just a murder machine, guys. Like, I don't know. He is easily my favorite character in Standard currently. So we're gonna go to attacks. Solid Blade Strike, bread and butter attack. This attack really is the engine that makes him go. Makes all of his abilities only cost 1. It makes Last of Its Kind only cost 1. It's really good if you're cutting yourself down really low and your opponent tries to reverse. If say they reverse you on a non-safe attack, you can gain more vitality. You can gain vitality on your opponent's turn. It's safe. It's weapon. It gets the range keyword. You give it throw with Kotal Kahn, and then you use Demon Realm Awakening. You get an extra 5 damage, and that's sick when you make it a throw, because it ends up being like an 11 damage throw, and that's pretty good. You're either half healthing a 7-hander, or you're chunking a 6 or a 5, which is always really nice because you're continually cutting down your resources to do more damage. Sun God Choke, snap momentum, damage pump. It's really good. It's a little overcosted at the 5 difficulty, in my opinion. I may take this out in the rebuild for Omaha. I may leave it at a 2 of instead of a 4 of. It's a little expensive, especially if you get like your opponent uses hand cannon to block and your stuff doesn't clear. It basically is on a 6, and it just becomes kind of sad because you can't use the damage pump right away. Forbidden Moonset, obviously this needs no introduction. This card is insane, or busted, to quote Shane Duckworth in Kotal Kahn. He cannot give powerful attacks throw, but your throw can gain powerful afterwards. So this allows you to lose the safe keyword, gain powerful 5. It gives you a little momentum gen. It also gives you a little bit of foundation control. So you just like kick some stuff with low blocks in it, or you can get rid of a defensive piece that you don't want to deal with. It's fantastic. Guild Seeker. This card is insane. It has a bunch of damage on it. It allows you to have foundation or asset control. Kotal Kahn loves multiples, so this gives you multiple because multiples are printed 0, so it allows you to use his damage buff. Slide Shots is really the MVP of this deck. You're able to go into a turn with this in 2 momentum, and you're doing 21 damage if your opponent doesn't block. It's even more if you're in desperation. It's another 6, I believe. It's 27. Yeah, it's crazy. And the multiples kick themselves, so that was something in the Tyler Clark matchup, the Remy matchup. I had 2 slide shots. I was able to kick the 2 multiples on my first slide shot and play a second slide shot because of that. So anything that's able to clear itself like that is fantastic. Spinning Pile Driver. It's a 2 of. It's a non-block. It's kind of scary. But the deck does play 5 non-block attacks, and that's a little too much for my taste, but it works really well because you can use Kali Yuga to return some of the attacks, but as blocks. But gives you some foundation control, gives you another throw for some guaranteed damage. So you're running. Well, all your attacks are technically throw if you use Kotal Kahn's R, but you have at least 5 throw attacks right off the bat without using it. Kali Yuga. This card's great. It allows me to reuse weapon attacks or safe attacks. So if I play an attack, I play Moonset, play an attack, return Moonset, play Moonset again. It can allow me to get more momentum. Or also, this is a stun deck's worst nightmare because they don't want to be debuilt. So if you have a deck against a deck that makes you destroy your stuff or commit your stuff, you're able to debuild them on the response. Mega Sword and Elk Shield. This card came in clutch. I believe against Phil. I was able to tap his board down on his turn using this, and then he built 2, I believe, and then I was able to tap them down with this again. And it's also a clutch block out of your staging area. Demon Realm Awakening is fantastic. Everyone should be playing for this if you're playing these symbols. It replaces itself on both abilities. It gets you damage, pump, and negation. And if they're in deadlock, you're able to add another copy. I forgot about that. Thankfully, I didn't fight anybody into deadlock. Also, after you block with the card, you can. So, cool thing about this card is the bottom R card pool remove after you block with this card. Draw 1 card. If the blocked card was a throw attack, it deals no damage. So with Kotal Kahn, you can make your opponent's attacks throws, block with this, and take no damage when you draw a card. It's fantastic. It's a great little tool that he turns his offensive ability into a defensive ability. Yeah, you give your opponent momentum, but it's worth it for not taking damage in the long run. Or you can get rid of a card that has like a static on it, like a Windmill Punch. Or like a Goo, or what is it, the Megui, whatever, the X card that gives +1/+1 or whatever. Or like a Lilith card that has one of those dumb responses on it. So, Foundation base is pretty much Order Foundation base. We got Fei Fei, Agents and Wise. Conduit is fantastic. This card is nuts. Your opponent does not want to stun into you with this card on board. You could also make sure no one can clear card pools, which is great. Or your opponent. Avarice, playing an Order deck, it's actually relevant. I put 2 speed on Moonsets multiple times. And then it also, you check your draw, so you're actually really good at the game, because if you check it. Demon Hide, it's really good, like for Coffee Sambas, or if you don't want your attack to gain flash for like High Seas Adventure, it's a really good. It could also be used offensively too. World Without Battle, Speed Hate. I've actually used the Desperation E a few times over the weekend where I was slide shotting or guilt seekering, and I had a momentum face down. So I had a multiple. So it's a face down card. So I just flipped to draw a card if I was in desperation. So it's one of those little caveats in this deck where, yeah, you have some card draw, but you have to be able to. It has a condition, I should say. Forge to Defeat Evil gives you minus damage on an attack, yours or your opponent's, and then your next attack gets +2. So you would kind of backload an attack. There was a time where I got an attack to 1 damage, but my next attack was going to get 6, and that was going to make that a throw. And so your opponent has to be kind of mindful about the damage buff games you can play with your deck, where you can lower some stuff and raise some stuff, and you can really front load an attack coming with so much damage on play. Your opponent's usually pretty frightened. Pursuing a Vendetta, so you don't get your stuff blown up. Never drew it against Garrison. He got to Dragon's Tongue us all the time, and it was hilarious. Task by Festus, another throw block where if you want to give your opponent's block throw, it deals 1 damage, and they have to commit a foundation. So it's a really good defensive ability. Also, if your opponent starts negging your speed or damage, you can gain some vitality back. Ridding the World of Outsiders, this is great because you're able to commit it to get your next attack +2/+2, so you would use it on your first attack that wasn't Kotal Kahn Ard, and then pump up your next attack. Coon Focused, it's a great block. Last of Us Kind, also, it's another great card, able to cut myself down for damage reduction. Has a nice deadlock ability and a great desperation ability since you're always getting in desperation. Retreated to Arctica, some damage redux. Mark beat me because I couldn't use this. I had to burn one of his overly dramatics, and the only way I could burn it was with this, and ended up losing me the game. Excuse me, my voice is starting to go out. Mother Russia, speed hate, draw hate. God of Thunder, re-ready stuff. Get some extra damage on a throw. Resurrect Revenant. These two, actually, all this little 3-diff package is amazing. God of Thunder can ready Revenant, so I can draw clutch blocks out of my discard pile or damage redux to printed. It just allows me to get multiple uses of these 2 cards over the turn and defensively. 2-stop. I hate pawns characters. Don't want them to have stuff. Prepare to fight. Hate multiples. That's pretty much it. Hate gives me another clutch block that blocks all zones. So if it's a partial block, some more speed hate with Coon focused. Bebop blues for action hate. Invoking blood magic for momentum hate, and then allows me to reduce speed to 0. And then another Omega Sword and Elk Shield if I needed to get in more 6 checks or able to better get like some Omni perfect blocks. It still deals 1, but it's still like a perfect block. So, fun fact: I sided once the entire tournament, and that was against Kevin, and I got punished for it. And then I didn't need to side again. Actually, the rest of the tournament, it just worked out that way. I am changing the sideboard up to shore up my defenses against a deck like Solinka and some other decks that have a lot of like speed. So that's pretty much it. Yeah, guys, that's my deck in total. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Like, comment, subscribe. Thanks again for everybody who came out to the Rockford PTC. You guys made it a complete success. I cannot believe the amount of people we fit into that building, and we're going to try to get more into it next year. But look for Rockford CCG coming to Omaha. Kenosha are the next 2 stops, and then Indianapolis in November. We'll be there. If you want to support the channel even more, don't forget we have a Patreon. You can donate some money to that. All that goes back to the channel and to support us creating content for you guys. So if you like the content, let us know. Talk to you guys later. Have a good night.